Welcome, welcome, welcome. Art Lounge 365. This is Leah Quinn, your host, and this is today's podcast. I hope, as I take a sip of cold iced tea, I saw something the other day that I had to share with the private Art Lounge Facebook group, and that is don't F with artists, man. Why? Because we drink water that we've dipped our paintbrushes in and didn't even care about it. And we are still here. Um, Speaking of being still here, there's so many of us, I've been really so grateful for still hanging in there in 2021 after we've had 2020, and you know all that I'm referring to, with the pandemic. And I think we still haven't realized just how affected we've been. I really feel that I've been wanting to step into so-called my destiny since the beginning of 2021. And I was inspired by Beth Kempton's words, who reiterated that. Choose to step in. In fact, the words were, step into your destiny. And then she added all her juiciness in the front and the back end of the statement. And this line, and it really resonated with me for the first time in a long time. And she has always inspired me in an indirect way. I never get through her courses sometimes because I'm taking other courses that she offers on these other platforms. Make Art That Sells, Make It in Design, and of course my own that I'm trying to develop. It is so amazing how inspired I am by the amazing people I've met virtually through the internet, through online creative platforms. And it has been a hard 2 seasons. And I want my point in sharing this with you today is take your hand over your heart and another one over your belly button and breathe. There has been such speed of information has been fed to you, and that you're digesting on so much and on so many levels you don't even realize it. And I think sometimes we got to give ourselves not only a break from social media, but a break from the way we are receiving information. Certain social media platforms insist we'll talk it, I'll take it right out of the bag. Instagram. I have to say it like quietly, Instagram, hashtag. And, and I love Instagram. I'm inspired. And this is not actually a diss on Instagram, but the amount of time one spends in terms of marketing one's art or producing art. And there's lots of different ways to tell your story. Instagram is just one. And I think it's important now to realize how much time are you spending on particular social media platforms such as Instagram? And are they giving back to you that you're giving it? And is it really assisting you with growing you as a creative? And it can be and it's unintentionally competitive. And as one artist whose blog I caught, and I will link in the description box below of this podcast, her name escapes me at the moment but I shared her link in the private Facebook group I have at Art Lounge 365 on Facebook. And you can request to join here. I'll put a link down there in the description box too. And I share all sorts of extra goodies and private tips before they come here on YouTube. Excuse me. That's because I took breaths and I'm getting the excess air and energy out. Because when we digest literally all this information, and having to glance, and maybe what you post will be remembered 2 days later. And you put a lot of hours into that gorgeous piece. You put perhaps even 30 minutes on just designing what you were going to say. And yes, there are artists and creators out there that have multiple teams. And maybe it's, a good time. I love people who do this, and I'm trying to take note myself, is to have 1 week or one moment of a week that's just preparing and assembling them so that they sort of always come out at 12 o'clock or 1, whatever seems to be the right time. I rarely post on Instagram anymore. I can't wait to get off the app as soon as I get on. But that's not how it works. There's logarithms ever changing. And who can keep up? It's like WordPress. Oh my gosh, I got to update it again. You better have downloaded your WordPress website. That's why I got off that one. That I'm a big lover of Shopify. Square is great too. Others can really work well, but this is just for e-commerce ring, your e-commerce ring, making up a word, Mollyprop. My mom always said I was the queen of Mollyprops. Mollypropisms. And it's a word that you just make up. In my case, I was putting two words together, right? And, listen, this is a fly by the seat of my pants podcast, trying to come on in, relax, let you enjoy your sketching and painting there and whatever you're trying to create today. And to remind, it's okay to take a break from social media, man. Do it. It does your heart and soul, does your brain, your creative brain. It honors that special time, that special time that you need to recoup and to rest. We can't be posting per se, even if or in fact, is all that posting really doing your business any good? If you're spending a lot of time. If it is doing your business great, fab, run with it, go with it. You got a team. How can you grow? That I'm sure I'll cover in another podcast. But this is about being thankful for the past 2 years, in that you are still here. You have gone through, honor that you have witnessed and experienced, and now it's time to take a little bit of a break. Listen to some music, commercial free. When's the last time you listened to an entire album just that you get 45 minutes of that artist's sort of head at the time that they created that piece? Concept albums are always great too for that. Or bands, something like, old school, yet the band Yes, for their existential jazz, orchestrated, cool studio work. Just incredible. Your brain, woohoo! Have some fun. That's just one band. Hendrix, I'm a big fan of another. What is my favorite that I like on Pandora? Let me pull it right up because it's delish. And it is called, I have it, Booker T and the MG's radio station. And I have a setting, how you can adjust on Pandora. Show me all of the popular ones. I like to do the deep cuts option. So you're getting all these really I listen to Galactic, who I just saw released an NFT with music. That was very interesting. By the way, sidestep, because I have been looking into NFTs and learning all about that, and it's fascinating. But holy moly, there's a lot still to learn. But I'm also just relaxing about that and not worrying about getting into the NFT business. But it does make some interesting thoughts as to how one can work when they're creating a piece, and to think about your layers, labeling those layers, and giving multiple options for those layers if you'd like to create NFTs. Think of them as skins, per se, these layers. Skins as in, if you ever played Sims, I remember Sims used to buy skins. The younger group told, they're like, yeah, we know what. But, for the Gen Xers here, we're like, what? But the video games, and you'd buy You're like, oh, I want my person to like have a better outfit. So okay, so you buy a skin, and that skin would be a different outfit for your character, and now your character looks just the way you want it. And they'd be cost like $1 or whatever. But that's sort of the earliest versions of NFTs, these sort of digital um, pieces. And of course, it has since morphed. But speaking of, that's why that band Grammatic recently released one, I think three in total. And I don't know if it's on Open Sun. I'm still learning the platforms where you even buy the NFT, let alone how you sell it. And then there's gas fees. You're like, gas fee? How's there a gas fee? Right? And enough, some of you are like, I know, right? Gas fee. The amount of jargon, like brand new jargon, when you listen to an NFT, like how to learn about NFTs, make an NFT today from Photoshop, whatever. Okay, all these videos on YouTube, and you're, and I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my god, the jargon has been fascinating. It reminds me back in the day. I'm gonna totally date myself. Saturday Night Live had a skit. This was sort of after the season of I'm the Cuppy Boy. You know, remember that for those of you older ones, the Cuppy Boy. So this was later. No, it was before. Oh, who cares? Times references of Saturday Night Live, but the skit theme was computer. It was Office, and yeah, it was the computer. Oh, and it was the computer guy. Somebody, the computer guy, and you had four people in four desks with these big ass computers in front of them, these monitors, and just a whole clunkiness. And we're all much lightweight iPads and tablets, all the rest are now. And anyhow, the skit was very funny. As the skit started, of course, somebody's computer was totally broken down, and computer guy comes in and starts speaking basically in words we now use all the time. But back then, it was still so brand new that no one even talked gigabytes. It was still back in like, is it JPEG or, kilobytes, like really tiny small stuff. So the whole skit was hilarious using words that just did not exist literally in verbatim or in the colloquial vocabulary of your average office worker 5 years prior. So it was a really, innovative skit that it equates to watching a video YouTube about NFTs. You're like, what? The jargon, it's all brand new words and platforms and language. It's hilariously delicious to dive into, but that's that's fun stuff. So again, find other things to do, fun stuff, whether it's learning about NFTs or learning about a different subject matter or learning how to draw something, and don't be afraid to start telling your story in a different way than always necessarily being on just one social media platform. That's just, my 2 cents for today. It has really been wonderful to witness the growth in my own art this year and the growth that I've seen in other artists that I have ventured with my year of art school with Lila Rogers. That was really sensational this year. And I will be a little bit more active, I believe, in the Live Hub this year, so that I can really hightail that on my surface pattern designs, and really looking forward to having retreats for a few select artists here at my Airbnb in Bella Falls, Vermont. So with that said, this is just a little snippet of what we're going to be doing in the future for Art Lounge 365 podcast. And this is Leah, and we'll be taking a break, and we'll be back in just a few moments.